Missing links. Do you know what the missing links are to your canine fitness, your canine exercise program? We all have gaps and holes and missing links in our programs. Why is this so important? Because these are the things that we are either missing in our program, in our training program, our exercise, our fitness program, or they're areas that we're not attending to. And why this is so important is because by not attending to these gaps, the holes, the missing links in our fitness program, we are holding our dogs back. They are not able to reach their true potential, and possibly they may even be set up more likely to have injuries. And this is something it's not necessarily an easy thing to implement from A to Z and get everything right. Nobody has the perfect fitness program. Like, there's just no way. There's always imbalances. There are always areas we're working on. Think about you and your own health and fitness. Think about elite Olympiads, right? There's always something to work on. And this is the same thing with our dogs. Whether you have an active family pet, a sport dog, a working dog, in order to help them perform at their best, we really need to approach it at a well-rounded program and find out the areas we're doing well and find out the areas we're doing not so well so that we can make changes and tweaks along the way to make things better. And one of the easiest things to do is to take a step back, be aware of what are kind of those pieces of the puzzle. And I promise you, very quickly, I bet you will be able to identify the areas that you need to work upon. And you probably already know some of those areas. If you do, let me know, put it in the chat box. I've talked about this before, but today we're going to be a little bit more strategic. I've got a planning guide, a little worksheet, a workbook you can use to help along. And the biggest question that I have a lot of times are people want to know, what kinds of exercises? Well, I know that I'm not doing enough cardio. I know I'm not doing enough strength training, but what do I do? What are examples of strength training? What are examples of other cardio? These are questions I get over and over again. So today I'm going to talk about how to identify those missing links. And I'm going to give you specific examples and help you think about, okay, what can I do for cardio? What can I do for strength? And when we look at it that way, it's not very hard at all to identify what are some quick and easy ways we can start making changes in our programs. So if you're just now joining me, just a quick hello and a welcome. My name is Erica Bowling. I'm the owner and founder of Northeast Canine Conditioning. I love helping people take their sport dogs and their working dogs, turning them into the elite canine athletes that they are, and also just helping our dogs stay fit and healthy and grow old gracefully, keep them fit. So if you're just now joining, what I have for you, and let me see if I can get this in the comments below. I actually already posted this. But I have what's called the Canine Fitness Planning Guide. So some of you might have seen the Canine Fitness Planning Guide in the past. I just updated it. This is a newer version. Great. You should be able to see the link. I'm going to be referencing the Canine Fitness Planning Guide. If you don't have access to it right now, don't worry. You can still follow along. When you put your information, it should go to your email. If for some reason you don't get it, just message me and I'll get it to you. But what I'm going to be doing is kind of walking you through some questions to ask yourself, and they're highlighted in the Canine Fitness Planning Guide to identify the areas that you may be not doing so well, the missing links, the areas you're not attending to. Then what I have is a slide with different categories and just giving you some examples of what might you do to kind of fill those holes and do better to help get a more rounded, a more balanced fitness program. So grab that guide. Again, it should be in the comments below, one or two links I just posted up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to walk you through some of the questions that are on here. And then, like I said, I'm going to give you some more specific examples. So give me 1 second so I'll pull this up. And I am actually going to make it a little bit, you might not be able to read it all, but this is the Canine Fitness Planning Guide. And here's a cover page so you can see what you're downloading. And basically what you want to do before you think about what you need to add or change in your programs is you need to stop and kind of reflect on what is happening right now. So you'll see some questions here. Number one is a link. I've mentioned this before, and some of you have already downloaded this, but this is the Purina. It's a body score system on a scale of 1 to 9. 9 is like morbidly obese, and a 1 is a dog that is like super, super like unhealthy skinny. And the ideal, if you click on the link, you'll see that the ideal body condition score is like a 4 or 5. Now, let me say this. A body condition score is not like overall fitness. The body condition is kind of looking at your dog's weight, I mean, it really doesn't even speak to muscle tone, but it's a good guide to kind of judge basically where is your dog, you know, is it a little bit overweight, is it a little bit underweight, and that's a nice way to start. So one of the first things you want to do is make sure your dog is an appropriate body weight and good body condition, and that's a great guide to use. The other thing that you want to do is think about what are you currently doing, because in order to figure out what are the missing links, we have to first reflect upon what do we already have in our training program and our fitness exercise program. Now, let me say this. How many of you have you have a set fitness program that you're like, okay, today we got some strength training and we got exercises. Let me know if you currently are doing a fitness program with your dog. If you're not, don't stress, because a lot of times just if you're training for a sport, if you're training for work, you are doing things that are tending to fitness, right? So, you know, if I go to flyball practice, my dog is getting some awesome cardio, aerobic, actually it's anaerobic, it's sprinting. So I want you to think about fitness and exercise. It's not just go out and do exercises on equipment. You can look at what you're doing day to day and where does that fit into your fitness program, okay? Hey, Angie, thanks for joining us. So yeah, download the guide. And when you're thinking about what are you currently doing, don't just think that, you know, oh, well, I don't do strength training. Well, actually, if you're out active and doing a lot with your dog, I bet you do have strength training. You're just not focused. Maybe you're strategic. So if you scroll down to the next page, I actually have kind of a fill in the blank. And you'll notice at the top, and I mentioned this a few weeks ago, we talked a little bit about rating your dog's body condition, but on the scale of 1 to 9, that's the Purina body condition score. I have the link above on the handout. The second one is a scale of 1 to 10. So, hey, Michael, you rated your dog the other week. A scale of 1 to 10 where I talk about fitness level. This is kind of a scale that I've come up with. The way I look at it is that a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is like an Olympiad. A 10 is like somebody who's living and breathing their whole lifestyle is all focused around health and fitness at a high level. That would be like a 10. Think of like an Olympic athlete. A 1 would be like, you know, your dog is either ill and not moving much or pretty much just sits on the couch all day. If you just kind of have like an active pet dog, you might be like a 5, maybe a 6. You know, if you get out and do a lot of activities, your dog has good body condition, a healthy diet, active program. So this is just something kind of self-monitor and self-assess. So now if you look down, I have here broken into cardio, strength, body awareness. And then I also have also for you to think about what are you doing well? And also, what are you doing not so well? Like what's missing or maybe is not having much emphasis. I'm going to give you a list in just a second. I know some of you are thinking, well, I'm not sure, Erica, what's an example of stretching? I'm going to give you some examples in just a second, but I want you to kind of reflect first and think about, okay, my dog's current cardio endurance includes. So this could be, okay, cardio endurance. When I think about a cardio exercise, I think about getting the heart rate up. So, I mean, for my senior dog, you know, a walk around the neighborhood, like that's a workout. For a very healthy and fit 5-year-old dog, just walking around the neighborhood with the heart rate not getting up very high, that's not much of a cardio workout for a young, healthy dog. So, so think about whether it's walking, hiking, jogging, swimming, romping around in the backyard for 30 minutes. All of these are things to think about when you think about the aerobic capacity. And you want to think about how long are you doing it? What's the intensity of it? How many days per week? Okay. And so that's what you want to reflect upon. And I would say ideally, I would say structured fitness, cardio fitness, at least 3 days a week. I like to have my dogs doing something, a little bit of something every day. It might not be structured, but you know, whether it's, you know, going out off leash, going to the park, or even in the backyard. So the second one is strength training. So this is where a lot of people say, oh, strength training. I don't know. What do I put for strength training? Strength training, it can be very targeted, specific fitness exercises like on equipment. Strength training is also, my senior dog strength training is walking up the stairs. Like that's strength training for my older dog. I mean, for the younger dog, I mean, he's using his muscles more, but it's not as hard. Strength training could be, jumping, because they gotta, they're using the hindquarters more. The impact on the shoulders. They're putting more stress on the body than normal, just walking and jogging around. Strength training could also be things like climbing and crawling. So as you can see, there are some kind of day-to-day things you might be doing with your dog that might qualify as strength. Oh, how many of you have a dog? How many of you have a dog that like pulls on the harness? Like you take him for a walk and he's pulling, or they're pulling on the collar. Now, ideally, we don't want them pulling on the collar. It's not good for their neck and their breathing. But, if you have your dog on a harness and he's dragging you down the street, that is strength training. It's resistance, right? Resistance training. They're pulling you. So those are some examples. The next one, flexibility. So I like to do dynamic stretching, kind of luring the dog into stretching positions. I'm going to give you some examples in just a second. And then, again, think about areas that you're doing well in and areas that maybe are your weaknesses. For me, things that I'm doing well are things that I'm doing on a weekly basis, things that I'm doing more than one day a week. If it's really intense, I might only do it 2 days a week, or some of the things that aren't super hard or intense, I might do 3, 4 days a week, 5 days a week. If I'm only doing it once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, or once a month, that's not enough for my dog to really benefit physically. So if I'm doing it well, it means I'm consistent with it. I keep up with it. I'm kind of challenging my dog safely to get better and stronger. Okay. So that's what I want you to think about. Now let's go to the next page. So the next page is, now that you think about, okay, what am I doing well? Is to think about, where can I improve? What are some areas that I need to improve upon and put more focus? And here I have cardio, strength, body awareness, and flexibility. I don't have it on the form, but a lot of times if you got a sport or working dog, you'll want to include, like, what are you doing for sport? What are you doing for your training for your detection dog? So we have we have people, Angie, you're doing IGP. Angie, are you doing like scent work detection? I know you have clients, but with your own dogs. Michael, are you still keeping up with your, I don't know if you're doing any canicross or hiking. I know you were doing that about a year ago, you're getting out. But also think about if you do fly ball practice once a week, if you're going to, the PSA, IGP, French Ring Club once or twice a week. Think about where that also goes. You've got sports specific training, but also when your dog is doing bite work, that could be anaerobic, when they're running and sprinting down the field. And then when they're coming in for the bite and they're fighting with the decoy, that's strength training, right? You got cardio, you got some strength training there. If you're doing jumping, like you could have cardio and strength there. So we have a lot of these areas that overlap each other. Detection scent work dogs, they don't necessarily, if your dog is on leash, your dog might not be getting a really high heart rate, but you could be doing things like, think about FEMA dogs, search and rescue dogs. They're on rubble piles, right? They're climbing over things and under things. So you're engaging in body awareness. So when you think about your fitness program, also think about when you do your Saturday training for your club, think about where are you putting a lot of your energy and what's missing, right? So yeah, oh yes, canicross, Angie, great. Canicross, scent work, and obstacles. So Angie is doing multiple things. Yes, and Amelia, you're doing the fast cat. And so when you're thinking about this, think about the sport you're doing. And if you're training regularly for a sport, you are building imbalances. You are building kind of, maybe not missing links, but you have weak links, right? So if you do a lot of lure coursing, a lot of practice, that's a lot of sprinting, and you may be missing out on body awareness. You may be missing out on some stretching or maybe some aerobic workout, like for a nice steady pace trot for 20 minutes, right? Hey, John, you said, you got a sprinter there. You do a lot of Cavaletti and also constantly training for the breakaway speed. Okay, so John, this is interesting. So sprinting could be under cardio, definitely. Also, if you're sprinting and you're looking for speed and power and propulsion, and they're going from, even if you have a little bit of an incline, that could easily also cut over into strength. Now, I would want to add more strength training because when you look at power, when you look at acceleration and speed, a component of that is power, and you need strength to build power. So the sprinting, you have cardio, you are putting more demands on the muscle strength wise, but if you combine that with more emphasis, more focused strength training, it will help your dog actually get faster and accelerate quicker. Your dog will be quicker. Cavaletti, that's interesting. Cavaletti could be body awareness, balance. Cavaletti could also be if you're like trotting over the little, cross pulls, the little jumps. That could also be, I like to use them as like a warm up for part of my cardio. So that goes across the different other areas. Belinda, you said about search and rescue. So search and rescue, a lot of times what I see with the search and rescue dogs is they tend to have, especially if you're like an off leash air scent dog searching off leash, I'll see more aerobic cardio. Is kind of a lower heart rate and a steady state heart rate over an extended period of time, which is wonderful. But what's missing is sometimes those short, intense sprints that like John's dog is doing. So there are cardiovascular and muscular benefits, and just overall, just the physical fitness benefits for balancing aerobic and anaerobic. So if John is doing a lot of anaerobic sprinting, his dogs for endurance and stamina could also benefit from some longer distance aerobic. And Belinda, if you have a dog doing search and rescue, doing a lot of, searching off leash for miles and miles and acres, they could be really, really good with the aerobic, but they could also benefit from the cardiovascular boost in the system by doing some sprinting work too in the training. So I didn't decipher here cardio, that goes into more detail, but in cardio, I like to think of cardio as anaerobic, like your short bursts of high intense sprints, or jumping can also be anaerobic, or aerobic, which is that kind of steady state, 20 minutes or more, a nice steady trot would be a nice aerobic, right? So usually what I'll see is people in sport and in work, they'll be doing really well in the cardio or strength based on their training. And the weaknesses, the missing links or the weak links could be in body awareness. I'm guilty of that with my protection sport dogs. Flexibility are some of the things that I find that those dogs are missing. They're not missing it, but it's just not as strong. So what's going to happen is if you keep putting all your energy in cardio, your dog's working really hard, but then your dog's getting tight muscles. The tight muscles, can create soreness. So if you just constantly keep doing the same thing over and over without balancing out with other things on this fitness plan, you're developing imbalances, which are developing weaknesses in your dog. And the weaknesses are what can lead to injury, and the weaknesses are what's holding your dog back from doing even better in performance, right? So let's go here. Let me see, was that the last? Okay, so that was the last page. Like I said, the link should be for you to download it. What I want to do now is I want to give you some more examples of what are some more cardio activities you can do? What are some more strength training? What are examples of body awareness, of flexibility? What are some examples? Before we do that, what is the area? What are some of your weak links or your missing links? What are the areas that you are maybe not consistent enough? You're not doing it on a regular basis. That would be kind of your weak link. What are the areas maybe you're completely ignoring? That would be your missing link. And the easiest thing to do, the first thing to do is to say, okay, oh my gosh, I'm completely forgetting flexibility. So one of the easiest and quickest ways to help your dog is to start getting more balance in your program, right? So before I pull up the examples, does everybody have an example? Do you know at least one or two areas you want to work on? Right now, actually my older dog, I need to do some more massage with him. Actually, I need to work on all areas. I had a little bit of time off with Knox. Okay, so you ready to see some examples? Let me change screens here. Okay, so here is when you're thinking about what are some examples. I'm going to give you some examples, and if you're listening and you can think of other ones, please write them down and add them in the conversation, because I'm giving you just a limited list. There's many, many more things you can do. So yeah, Erica said you need to get back to more body awareness. I personally have to work more on that. All right. Okay. Let me enlarge this. You'll see part of it. And then what I might do is turn my video camera off when we get to the last row. So Denise said more flexibility and massage for sure for your dog. And when I'm talking about fitness and exercises, I'm talking about adult healthy dogs. If your dog has had an injury, if your dog's recovering from an injury, if you have a puppy, that's a different scenario. If your dog's been injured, you need to go to your veterinarian or your rehab specialist and make sure you know that what you're doing is appropriate. If you have a puppy, if you have a dog that is not physically mature, say 12 months, a year and a half old, there are going to be exceptions. There are going to be some things you don't want to do with the young dog. And I've got lots of information. I have other Facebook Lives on that. So we're not going to talk about puppies tonight, but I'm going to talk about just thinking about healthy, mature dogs. Okay. All right. So strength training. And I have a couple of photos to show you too. So just bear with me. Let me go through the list and then I'll show you some examples. This is actually one of the things I went over with people in my Elite Canine Athlete program. People can get certified to become a certified canine athlete specialist. And this was a list we formed and we started adding to this. We have a pretty expansive list, but this is what we started with. So strength training, I like to call them squats. And basically what you do is you can raise your dog's front feet on a platform. And the higher the front feet go, the harder it is. And your dog does sit, stand, sit, stand. It's a squat. And like my senior dog actually just doing a sit, stand on the ground is strength training for him. He doesn't have to put his front feet up to raise it. But if you want to make it a little harder, you raise the front feet, you can put them on a solid surface. If it's an advanced dog, you put it on an unstable surface. When I go to the park, a picnic bench, I'll put my dog's front feet on the picnic, like where you sit on the picnic bench on the seat. And my dog will do sit, stand, sit, stand. That would be a squat, right? Climbing. Climbing is engaging the muscles. It's more strenuous, strength training. Digging, strength training, working the shoulders, the toes, right? Working the feet. A three-legged stand. And I've been teaching my dog Knox this, where I'm teaching him to actually hold his leg up by himself. So he'll stand on three legs and just hold like a front leg up and like he's a pointer. He'll hold it like he's a pointer. And for more advanced, I'll have him do a three-legged stand and then he'll do sit, stand on three legs. But if you're doing a three-legged stand, like if he's lifting his front right foot, then the left foot's working harder. And you can alternate. You can do the hind legs too. Positions on an exercise ball. So it's very similar to the squats, but the feet are on like an unstable surface. This would be more advanced. You would not want to start with that. Definitely. Hill work, jumping, weight pull, and drag work. I put this in red because it is more strenuous. It's putting more external force or more, it's just more strenuous on the joints, on the soft tissue, joints, tendons, ligaments. So if your dog is not fit, you don't want to take a dog that's not fit and has a regular fitness program and just start running hills. If you don't have a dog that's really fit, you don't want to just take it out and start doing a whole bunch of jumping. It would be like me if I'm not fit going to the gym and all of a sudden you're giving me an advanced workout. I'll get sore. At the minimum, I'll get sore. Worst case scenario, I get hurt. So I highlighted the red stuff because like weight pulling, you got an external force on the body. Drag work, you have an external force on the body. Hill work and jumping, you've got more gravity, but it's more impact on the body. So when I'm starting a strength training program, I like to just use the dog's body weight and like just gravity, like the squats, right? But I wanted to highlight those because if you jump to those exercises too soon and your dog's not conditioned, you're putting undue strain, excess stress on the soft tissues, tendons, ligaments, and that can create problems, right? Tennille, how long and how many reps? That is totally individual on the dog. And in the Elite Canine Athlete program, we spend hours talking about how to assess a dog to know how many reps and how frequently and how long. There's so many, we take like 6 months, learning how to put all these programs together. But the things you need to think about is you have to understand the dog, where you're starting at, the difficulty of the exercise, What stage are you at? An intermediate level, an advanced level, or a beginner level? How strenuous it is. There's many, many variables that are going to be determined on how many reps and how long. And you have to base it. You have to base it on the dog in front of you. So it requires you being able to assess the dog in front of you. I can't just randomly say, do so many reps. You know, for my one dog, Bocce, he would get hurt. For my younger dog, Knox, he would be fine. For a dog that's structurally built differently and has different structural weaknesses, there may be an exercise I don't even do. So the one thing, as I would emphasize here, is you don't take just generic fitness programs and apply it to any old dog. You need to understand how to assess the needs of the dog in front of you. And like I said, there's too many variables in there to do a quick answer for that. And we spend months, people learning that, but that's a good question to ask is, you know, you want to start very gradually. And if you aren't sure, learning how to do this or working with a fitness professional to guide you on it. Or, you know, you could either not see any improvement at all because you're not doing enough, or you're doing too much and your dog gets hurt. So those are just some examples. There's many, many, many other examples you could do for strength, but those are just some ones to get us started. Okay, cardio. So cardio, swimming is cardio. Jogging is cardio. Sprinting is is more like your anaerobic, high intense cardio. Searching. So if you've got, if you have a search dog, a search and rescue dog, if they're searching, kind of getting the heart rate up off leash. IGP, when they're doing the blind searches, that's cardio. Ring sport, when your dog's running around the field trying to find the decoy, that's also cardio. Now, it's not going to be like, not necessarily a 20, 30-minute cardio workout, but it's getting that heart rate up and you are doing cardio, right? Lunging. How many of you are horse people? Lunging, if you're a horse person, lunging is where I have my horse or my dog on a long lunge line, a long lead. I like to do a minimum of like, you know, I mean, when I'm teaching it, I might do a 6 to 15 foot lead. My dog, I'll take 20, 25 feet. And I teach my dog to kind of jog and trot and kind of go in circles. And I'll do that as kind of a cardio warm up, going and lunging in circles. So yeah, you're welcome to Neil. I've got other, some other videos on that. You want to check out the videos on our, Northeast Canine Conditioning Facebook page. We cover program design, all kinds of stuff on that. So if you're a horse person, you'll totally get the lunging. Treadmill, you can do treadmill cardio. If you put it on an incline, you're combining strength and cardio. Again, you don't want to get a beginner fitness program, put them on the treadmill and run them for 20 minutes and sprint on a hill. Like, their body has to be conditioned. It would be like asking me to go out and say, if I never run and you put me on the treadmill and tell me to run 3 miles as fast as I can, like, that's not going to be a pretty picture. So it's the same thing for the dogs. You need to build up to it. Circuit training. So circuit training, I'll do this a lot. I'll talk with people that are limited. They can't get out and run with their dog for 20 minutes. I'll say, okay, think about going in your backyard and having different exercises. Like, you're going to do a little bit of jumping, a little bit of sprinting. You're going to do some tugging and get your dog's heart rate up and just keep it up and keep changing, do different activities and keep changing it up and trying to keep that heart rate up and keep it going. So circuit training is like human circuit training. You kind of have stations and you just work your dog from activity to activity. So that's what some people might do if they, like I said, if they can't go out and just run their dog for continuous 3 miles, but they need to get more activity. Pet dogs, how many of you work? Some of you, I've got dog trainers here working with pet dogs. A lot of pet dog people struggle with, they need to get weight off of their dog and their dog's just not burning enough calories, right? They're not getting enough exercise. The owners, the dog's not trained. They can't go off leash. Maybe they have a small backyard. They can't go bicycling. They can't go jogging with their dog. So one of the things I encourage them to do is say, let's get out in the backyard and let's try to just keep your dog active. Can we build up to 20 minutes of just keeping your dog active and get that heart rate up? So that would be like circuit training. Dry land mushing, I've got a photo to show you, but the dry land mushing would be where I have like a mushing harness on my dog. He's actually attached to me with a special belt that sits low on my hips, and he's actually like pulling me. So that's cardio, but it's also strength training. So so those are some things to think about. And let me see if I can. Other ones, the flexibility. Here, I'm going to try something, and I hope this works. I'm going to turn off my camera so you can read the screen, but please let me know if my voice disappears. All right, there we go. Can you still hear me? If you can see the screen here, so it's easier to read. Okay, flexibility. Hoping you're still here with me. So flexibility, I like to do stretches where you are guiding the dog and the dog is moving into the stretch on their own. If you're trying to grab the leg and grab the body and the limb and pull the dog, you are more in danger of actually overstretching your dog, which can lead to injury. So all of the stretching, thank you guys, good. So I wanted to make sure you could see the screen well. So all the stretching I like to do is dynamic stretching, where basically I'm luring the dog into a stretch. I am not forcing or pulling any limbs of the body. And there's research behind, why you want to be careful doing that. So I just avoid it. So take a cookie, take a dog treat, and kind of lure your dog nose to the hip, nose to the shoulder, nose to the back foot, a play bow, paws up, putting the paws up on a desk, paws up on your shoulder, kind of stretching up. I put static stretching on here. I should actually not have it. Static stretching, think about if you're holding a stretch and then if you're putting any external force on the body limb, don't do that unless somebody has trained you how to physically do that. So just be aware of that. Also, combining massage with flexibility and stretching, adding massage is a great way to help increase flexibility. So those are some examples. I don't get super fancy. I massage my dogs and I do some basic dynamic stretches, luring my dog. When you're doing the stretches, make sure the dog has a neutral spine. Make sure that you're not lifting the head too high. Like if you're doing the nose to the shoulder and the nose to the hip, you want to keep the head level, kind of level with the spine. So you want to watch the head position, the spine, and the body, the whole body position. For body awareness, think about any kind of things like balancing, foot targeting, targeting the front feet, targeting the back feet, balance blocks, getting them to stand on a narrow surface, or, sometimes people will use 2x4s or bricks and having the dog stand with the front feet on, together or separately, hind feet balancing and standing on a smaller surface to balance. There are fitness equipment where your dog is wobble boards, balancing equipment. There's inflatable equipment, but again, you want to make sure that's not a beginner exercise. When you get on inflatable equipment, you want to make sure you understand how to use it properly. Penn Vet Working Dog Center, they call it a dog in a box, and they get a cardboard box. They do this with puppies and older dogs, and they'll have the dog get in the box, 2 feet in the box, 4 feet in the box, climb in the box, climb out of the box, this dog in a box. And that's building up some body awareness. You can do obstacle courses, little easy obstacle courses, and also body awareness if you're doing balancing, like a 2 or 3-legged stand. That is strength training, but it is also it's also body awareness, right? It's also body awareness. So those are just some examples. Is that helping you guys? Because I always get that question when I go over that canine fitness planning guide, or anytime I talk about a balanced fitness program, people always want examples. So if you have other examples, throw them in the comment box. But hopefully that's helping you to start think about, oh, that's strength training. Oh, that's cardio. So I told you I had a couple photos to show you. Oh, Erica, you've been doing the dog in a box with your puppy. Awesome. Do you have any videos of it? You have to do some videos and share. All right, I have a couple photos. I can't remember how many I have. Okay, so this is, let me see if I can make it a little easier to see. This is, if you can look, well, my head, in the bottom, you see my dog Knox, and he has a mushing harness on, and he's connected to me. So this is where we do, it's dryland mushing, canicross. So this is building muscular endurance, having the muscles engaged and working over time. I'm building muscular endurance. We're building strength, but I also will jog with him. And so we're also building cardio. So Becky, you have a big dog in a box. Becky has an Akita. Becky, you got to do a video of a dog in a box with your Akita and share it. This is one of my most favorite fitness exercises to do with my dog because I like to exercise with my dog. And I love Canicross because we're getting cardio and strength training together. And we go out together. I get a great workout. I like to do at least 3 miles, 3 to 5 miles with him. We don't run the whole way. We'll walk and jog. And even if you just walk with your dog, if he's pulling on the harness, it is resistance training, right? So, you know, you are getting some workout. Yeah, Becky's going to do a dog in a box. We'll have, well, Erica's puppy is not so little. Erica's puppy is what, like, I forgot how many pounds he is, Erica. But Erica's, you know, puppy, which is not so little, she can share that dog in a box, and we'll do the Akita in a box. So here's an example of muscular endurance, strength training and cardio. Let me show you another. This is also, I say muscular endurance. We did a Facebook Live a few weeks ago where I talked about muscular endurance. Endurance is not just cardio endurance. I'm sure you guys have experienced where I was hiking in the snow yesterday, and it was slushy. It was about 5 inches of slush and ice, and my feet were sinking down, and it was hard, and it was partially frozen. And muscular endurance, my muscles were fatiguing. It was like walking in, you know, deep sand. And I normally run, and I was sinking in the snow and the ice, and my muscles were fatiguing. So I was not conditioned for muscular endurance to go walking in 4 inches of snow and ice for 2 miles. I did 2 miles, but I felt that muscle burn. So I had not been conditioned for that muscular endurance. So just so you understand, when I say endurance here, it's different from cardio endurance. It's building the muscles up, the muscular endurance to withstand repeated episodes of that exercise. So here I'm working on my dog's shoulder, and what he's doing, you can see I'm not holding his foot. He is holding his foot in the air, and he's actually even pushing his foot into, I have a little paw pod that he's pushing into. So he's resisting. He's actually pushing into my hand. So he's resisting, and he's raising and holding his paw up over his shoulders. So we're building some strength and some muscular endurance. So that's an example. Angie says, Bocelli loves the cardboard. So you'll need to get plastic. I've actually not done dog in a box with my dogs. I've never done it with them. So I think I have one more example to give you. Let me see what I have here. Okay, here's another example. Yeah, this is my last example. So this is an example. Again, we're doing muscular endurance because we're building up some repetitions. When they're first learning it, you know, they don't have a lot of muscular strength and endurance to hold it for a long period of time. So we want to gradually build up. This is from, I think this is from either my Canine Conditioning 101. It's from the Elite Canine Athlete course when I pulled this out to share with you. But here, this is a little bit more advanced because he is on an unstable surface. This is a fit paws, fit bone. And what I want to do is teach him behaviors on the ground first. And once he gets really solid in his posture and position, then I can move him to equipment. So what he's doing here is he's balancing on the fit bone. And so we're building up some muscular endurance. Because he is balancing, he has to engage muscles to balance. So he is doing some balance and body awareness, but he is also strength training because when you're balancing on top of something, your muscles are contracting, right? Like if you're standing on an inflatable disc, your muscles, you're kind of wobbling, your muscles are contracting, you're trying to hold your balance. So you are engaging those stabilizing muscles to try to maintain balance. So we got a lot of different things going on as we've got that muscular endurance, we're building strength, we're building some body awareness. And I put flexibility here because if you see I'm stretching him, I'm hand targeting. He's holding his nose. I teach him to hold his nose to my hand, and he holds that hand target, and I lure him forward and he stretches. But I want to point out here, it's not all stretching because he's having to balance and contract muscles to balance on the fit bone. He's kind of stretching through the neck. And if you look in kind of like the groin area, he's opening up in the hip area. He's starting to stretch, but definitely in his front legs, he's balancing even more, and he's holding and contracting those muscles to maintain balance. So what I do, if my main focus is just stretching, I just want to stretch my dog, I put him on a solid surface so that he's not engaging muscles by balancing. Because if you're tightening muscles to balance, you're not stretching those muscles. So, I like to give this as an example. You know, I am luring him forward. He's stretching through the neck, stretching through the spine, but do know that he's not going to get as good of a stretch while he's balancing if I put him stretching and have him standing still. And then the muscles are, you know, relaxing more and I have him stretching forward or laying on his side, right? So, so that was one thing that I wanted to point out. John, let's see. Oh, John, you've got a 70-pound Belgian Malinois. You've tried taking weight off, but ends up as muscle weight. You like to see him around 60. So here's the thing, John, is I mean, look at the weight, but you also want to look at the body condition score, and you also want to look at muscle tone. So to be honest, I never pay any attention to my dog's actual weight in pounds. I really don't care what their weight is in pounds. What I care about is my dog's body condition and the body condition score and muscle tone. That's what I use to determine what to do with my dog, if I want to cut back or if I want to increase. So, so that would be one thing to look at. Yeah. And if you've got them on a diet and they're not losing weight, I will say this, I've had a number of people trying to get dogs to lose weight and they cut back on food, increase exercise, and the dogs just will not lose weight. If you're cutting back calories, increasing exercise, your dog is not losing weight, just do a health check and check thyroid. I've known a number of people. My sister actually had a dog that had a thyroid issue. As soon as they diagnosed it and got it on medicine, the weight instantly started coming off. And you know, muscle weight, adding weight in muscle is not a bad thing, right? Adding weight in muscle is not a bad thing. But yeah, like I said, I don't, and like the veterinarian one time, she was like, you know, how much do you feed your dog? And I'm like, you know, how many cups? And I'm like, I don't say my dog gets so many cups a day. I look at my dog, and if my dog's, you know, working extra and he loses a little weight, I basically look at my dog's body condition, and every day I adjust my feeding based on what my dog is that day and that week. So like I said, it's interesting to know their weight, but I pay zero attention to their, you know, the vet will be like, oh, he weighs 70 some pounds. I'm like, oh, really? But I don't really pay any attention to that. I look at how does my dog look? What's his body condition? What's his muscle tone? And those are the things I look at. So awesome. One other thing I wanted to share with you. Yep, just like humans. The other thing I wanted to share with you is, let me change screens here. If there's any questions, let me know. I'll hang on just a few more minutes if you have questions, but those were the photos that I had for you. Let me pull this down. I think this, so again, make sure you download the Canine Fitness Planning Guide. And this will walk you through to kind of reflect upon, you know, what you're doing well and what you're not. Sign up, make sure you opt in for the Fitness Planning Guide, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to send an email out to everybody who's on my email list, and I'm going to share this video recording. It will be on my Facebook business page, but if you want to get on the email list and you want to have that fitness planning guide and you want to go back and listen to this video and look at those exercises, make sure you opt in, make sure you sign up to get the guide, and then you'll be on my email list. And then when I have the video ready, I will send it out. I'll send the link, or like I said, it'll be on Facebook, but I do want to send it out. So, then the other thing I wanted to share with you is if you wanted to know more, Tennille had a great question. She was asking, you know, how many repetitions, how long? And like I said, that's a very complex question. But if that is something, if you're really interested in learning about canine fitness, you want to know more about this, you want to know how to safely progress, you know, onto the more challenging and more advanced exercises, you want to know how to safely build that program so your dog doesn't get hurt. Or if you want to learn so that you can help others, and maybe you want to, you know, build fitness programs and support people, or maybe you're a dog trainer and you want to integrate it into your business, or maybe you're already doing it, but you're not sure if you're doing it correctly, is we do have the Elite Canine Athlete Program. And this can lead to becoming a certified canine athlete specialist. You don't have to do it for certification, but we have a lot of dog trainers and training directors from search and rescue, police, We have people that do canine massage and they want to add fitness to their massage programs. But this is the Elite Canine Athlete Program. It's an online program. We only do enrollment twice a year. We're supposed to be doing an official announcement in a few weeks, but I'm almost already full. We've only got like, I think maybe 5 spots left. So take a look at it. The link should be in the chat box below. If you're listening to this and you don't see the screen, if you go to elitecanineathlete.com, it's Elite Canine, the letter K and the number 9, elitecanineathlete.com. You can also download the brochure there and just look it over. And if it looks interesting, there's a little application and I'll reach out to you and have a conversation to make sure this is indeed the best program for you. Or if you don't have access to the brochure, just message me. But this would be people where you really want to learn in depth. This is where you want to learn, how do you assess, a dog and determine where do you start? How many reps, which exercises, how many days per week? What do you do for the search and rescue dog versus the flyball dog versus the agility versus the overweight family pet? And we cover all of that in the program. So cool. Awesome. So that's everything I wanted to share with you guys today. Make sure you download the Canine Fitness Planning Guide. If there's any questions, post the question. If you're watching the video replay, you can message me or write a question and I'll see it and get back to you. But download the Canine Fitness Planning Guide. I'll pull that up one more time here. And again, remember, what you want to do is start out, where's your dog right now? And what are you doing well? What are you doing on a regular basis? Look at fitness, exercise, training, and what do you do, just your day-to-day activities? And then based on that, go to the next page where it talks about cardio, strength, flexibility, and body awareness, and think about where are your missing links or your weak links. And so one of the easiest ways to start improving your dog's fitness is to find those holes, find those gaps, find those weaknesses, and start making changes. And if you're not sure how to do this, we've got tons of resources on the Northeast Canine Conditioning Facebook business page. You click on videos. We've got a bunch of Facebook Live shows over the last number of years. But if you want some more formal training and make sure you're going about it in the right way and safely, I would encourage you to check out our Elite Canine Athlete Program. And we do have other programs, but that is our most comprehensive program. So great. Any questions? Oh, another thing. Yeah, John said you're giving like 2 cups in the morning and at night. Another thing to look at is the kind of food you're giving. So one of the things that I had to do with one of my dogs as he was getting older, he was retired, is I actually changed the food. So sometimes you might be cutting back on the food, but sometimes a simple change in the food can give you the results you want. Another thing that I did was I had a dog that I couldn't keep weight on him. He was young and very active and competing, and I was feeding him more and more and more food, and like he was eating like lots of food, and I didn't want to give him cups and cups. So I changed the kind of food. It was higher protein, higher fat, higher calories, and I was able to cut back on the quantity of the food. So that's another thing to do, is to also make sure the dog's healthy, do a health check, and look at increasing or decreasing exercise and, depending on what the dog's currently doing and what your end goals are, but also look at nutrition. That's an important thing. Cool. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Again, make sure you download our Canine Fitness Planning Guide, get on the email list, and I'll send out whenever I have the video ready to go. I actually might get some notes, kind of take the show today and write out some notes and some highlights. So if you want the written notes for that, make sure that you download this so you're on our email list. And you can catch us every Friday on the Northeast Canine Conditioning Facebook business page. We kind of alternate between canine fitness topics and also business topics for dog trainers and business owners. Next week, we've been doing the second Friday of the month. We're doing technology tutorials for business owners and dog trainers, and thinking about how to use technology to expand your business, get more efficient. And then, like I said, we alternate. We do more fitness topics, but we also do have some business topics. If you are a canine fitness trainer, a dog trainer, a canine professional, a groomer, and even if you're not in the dog related world, if you check out our videos on our Northeast Canine Conditioning Facebook business page, you'll see lots of resources there. So All right, you guys, thanks so much for joining. I hope to see you next Friday. And if this was helpful and informative to you, I'm sure others would benefit. So if you see our videos up there on our business page, you are more than welcome to share them with others and help spread the knowledge and spread the word. So more coming up next week, and have a great rest of the day and the evening, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye for now.